back, everybody, to LARPs and TARPs. I'm Morgan. I'm joined by Tom and Kerry today. Say hi, Tom and Kerry.
Hello.
Hello.
And we have a special guest with us today, Emma.
Hi.
And we are going to be talking about E3 of Empire 2022, from which I am still recovering.
Well, it is the Monday morning straight after Empire.
We did get home less than 24 hours ago. What time did we get home?
I think it was about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But we all tried to order takeout around 10 o'clock, I remember that.
Did you fail to order?
No, we got Chinese.
We got in just before they closed.
Excellent stuff. But yeah, so we've all just come back from Empire, and the entire reason we started this podcast was so we could have a reason to talk about it for as long as possible. So yeah, I hope everyone who went had a really good event. So we're just probably going to talk about the days as they went through and what we did and how we got there and stuff.
It seemed like it was a very good event for a lot of people. I mean, the sun was out, maybe a little too out, but
we had a decent amount of shade and a bit of rain on the Sunday as well, which was nice.
Luckily, the tents seemed to dry out just in time to get them bagged up and get them home.
Yeah.
So that was my main concern on the last day, because it rained so much in the early morning.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, so we set off on the Thursday night, didn't we? So Emma, you had to work on Friday.
Oh, that was no fun at all.
So we set off Thursday night so we could get there, and there's a work from home space at Silverstone Park called RAP, I think.
It's in the Innovation Centre at the Silverstone Centre Park.
Which was great. So basically we went down Thursday night, which was good fun. So our friend Jack from North Scotland.
Somewhere very far north of Scotland.
Near Loch Ness.
Yeah.
I think it's near Inverness.
Had set off at 10 that morning and arrived at about 6. And before that, we had been scrambling to pack everything into the van, got it all loaded up. So we had a really good 6-seater transit van, put everything in, got ready to go, picked Jack up from the station.
Off we went.
Off we went in the ox cart. Because it'd only been 6 weeks for me, but I guess it'd been 3 months for you guys.
Yeah, it's been quite long since we returned to Anvil from, was it back in April?
Yes.
It was,
end of April.
yeah.
Just spent the entire time being very, very excited.
Yeah, at least we didn't have the wind that peeled your skin off your bones this time.
That was
Yes.
a lot.
So we got there in the cover of darkness, rolled up into the League, which is a dangerous place to be at night, I think.
We don't shank you if you don't have a good, decent-sized purse, at least.
Had some really good a friend of mine who died last event and is reincarnated as a member of the League. A guy called Will helped us put up your tent, so we got that set for the dark, and then we had a lovely night in an inn, didn't we, Emma? We went to a hotel that night.
Yes, we did.
How was the hotel?
It was fine.
It was basic, but it was nice enough.
Holiday Inn, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But did Lenny Henry serve you your breakfast?
Wrong hotel.
Yeah.
No. I hear he was at the Premier Inn though. We should have gone there.
We should have got a little rubber duck.
But yeah, then we set off. What was your night like, Thursday night?
It was quite quiet compared to when we got to Empire in March. April. I'm tired.
We are.
My brain has melted.
Yeah, we went to the Forge, just the same as we did in April. Only in April, all the marchers were stood outside singing, Barbie Girl and modern songs, because obviously we were not in time in yet.
Wulfric's mum is a very...
Wulfric's mum has got it going on, yeah. Whereas this time, there wasn't quite as much noise around, but it might have just been that we were there a bit later. I mean, by the time we'd actually got set up and got into the Forge, which is the main tavern at Empire, where you can pay with barbarian coin, which is just regular money, it was about 11 o'clock, maybe?
Yes, I believe most players either went back to their camps at that point, or we've just missed the fun march singing. I'm not sure. I am very gutted we missed the march singing, because that was a highlight for E1
I don't know if
for
they
me.
do it every time.
I mean, I hope they do, and I hope we can start that as a tradition.
So
if you're listening to this podcast, any marchers that were involved in that beautiful, glorious event, let's continue it. It was great.
I thought that they did all the singing because it was after the longest dark. They were all a bit giddy from...
Could have been, to be fair.
Because it was very rowdy, wasn't it,
Yeah.
on the Thursday, and I think that was because everyone was just so glad to be back.
when I went in 2019, they were doing the March of Singing then as well.
Okay, so you must... Yeah, well, that makes sense. You
Okay.
probably missed it then. That's a shame. Well, we're going down Friday next time, aren't we? Because there's only so much time off I can take.
Yeah, that's the shame about it. For Thursday night's great, but if you can't do it else, get down on Friday.
Yeah.
I love Thursday night especially because it's only £5 to camp for that extra night, which, camping's cheap, but it's not always that cheap. And then obviously the forge and everything's open, you've got so many people there, and it's just nice to have that extra night. Well, wake up first thing in the morning and you're there.
Also means you get first dibs on pretty LARP things once the shops are set up.
Yes.
And on where you put your tent if you're out of character.
Yes.
I think it's a really nice transition because you have the option to dress up if you want to in your LARP kit on the Thursday, or you can just go casual, or I think we just did an amalgamation of both.
Yeah.
So we had like our cloaks on over our stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, building on that. It was great to because we just couldn't wait to get into costume, but it is a bit keen to get full on into costume, so we did just put our cloaks on, and then I don't know if we've already mentioned about E1, when someone was putting up the tent and it started to fly away, and we all ran over in our cloaks, and a beautiful, glorious moment to go and help them.
True heroes
We
of the
look like
Empire.
superheroes. Da-da-da.
I felt like a superhero
But
in the most nerdy way.
Speaking of shiny LARP things,
Shiny LARP things. Well, I'll just add one thing that
go on.
me, Jack and Kerry did on the Thursday night, just to emphasise how nerdy we are. We played the ABC game. So naming a thing in Empire for every letter of the alphabet.
did you succeed?
There's nothing for X.
The head of the Artisans Guild, his name begins with X. Would that count?
Oh!
We just couldn't think of anyone or any item or
Yeah.
piece of lore established as Empire solid information.
There must be. I feel like there's an Eternal that begins with that.
You know what, actually that came up because there was a very experienced player called Magpie at the Forge, so we asked him if he had any, and he joked about saying there was an Eternal, and then told us he wouldn't tell us because that was cheating, and then the next day admitted that he didn't actually know anything, and he was just messing with us a little bit there.
So if anyone listening knows of a established Empire thing in the wiki beginning with X, please let us know.
Okay, I'm thinking that. Anyway, we're recording.
Yeah.
I shall write it.
We also did it with D&D, but I think we had quite an early night all in all. I think we went to bed about...
No, you say early night, it's just because we
2
weren't
o'clock
drinking
in the
for
morning.
too long.
Yeah.
That's not early in my
No,
book.
it's definitely not. That's early to wake up.
Oh, yeah. If you just don't go to bed, I guess it's early.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we go to the next day.
Yeah, so Friday we woke up, I dropped you off at the Innovation Centre, which was really good, wasn't it, everything?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to hear about my work day,
No,
but
it was good that you had the space to do it.
free tea and coffee. So you pay £10 for the day. Then you get free tea and coffee. You get a nice workstation. I was very lucky because it was very quiet, and because it was so quiet at the event, I actually didn't have to pay at the end of the day, which was very kind of them.
Perfect.
Not sure I should be promoting
I was
that.
going to say, is that sponsorship
Probably.
money coming through from them? Yeah.
Probably expect to pay £10 if you
Yeah.
are going to use the space.
So that was great. I dropped you off there and then came back, because it's like 5 minutes away. Came back to the campsite, rocked in. Also, we didn't pay the extra £5 to get in.
Shall we not let PD know about that?
To be fair, we got there at near enough midnight,
That's
so
good,
it practically
true.
wasn't Thursday at that point.
I'll pay double if they have a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, if you want to claim that money from us, PD, we will bring it with us at the next event.
Yeah. So I arrived on Friday. You guys helped me set up.
Yes, you helped us set up, so it was more than fair that we
Yes.
helped you set up. It's a shame
Considerably
that
easier given that we had the light.
Yeah.
it's a shame that the Dornish camp compared to the league camp just seems to be covered in sheep shit.
Yeah, it was very covered in sheep shit. It was not usually, but I think must be that part of the hill because the centre of the camp isn't usually.
It must be just how the farmer feels about Dawn.
He must be a league.
Bold of you to think the member of the farmer thinks about this.
It could be a Marcher player that just bribed the farmer.
So funny.
Or maybe he trains the sheep to poo in a certain place.
Yeah.
The great sheep shit
I like the idea.
conspiracy.
I like to think that farmer who's lent this land looks out of his house and goes, "What on earth
Yeah.
are they doing?"
But to be fair, as we were arriving back on last night on the Sunday night and we were getting everything out of the van at our house, you guys were all messing around with Tom's new halberd, and I just saw a neighbour looking out the window, a bit confused and looking a little frightened almost.
I think a lot of people are very confused by this hobby.
But yes, that you brought me on to one of my favourite parts of the event, buying a halberd.
Yeah, because that was really funny, because I was just arriving, setting up my tent, I got a call from Tom, like, Morgan, do you think this van thing is something we could do in Freeman? I was like, maybe. Well, he goes, I want to buy a big, long pole.
Yeah, may I just suggest that you explain what a halberd is? Because I wouldn't have known.
For
if I hadn't
those
seen it.
who do not know what a halberd is, it's a 7-foot long pole with a nice jabby bit on the end.
And an axe.
Yeah, so it's kind of a mix between a spear and an axe.
It's like a can opener, but for knights.
Yeah, and me being a 5'6" short arse, it makes fighting in shield walls or getting play in that a lot easier. I've been umming and ahhing about a halberd since E1 this year. Seeing how the League National block fights with halberd, and it's very on brief for the league. I thought, you know what? I'll do it. I'm going to get that halberd, and it really, really changed the game for me. Standing out there, ready to go out onto the battlefield, having the weapon of the league in my heavy clank, I feel like it just tied the whole costume together. Well, not costume, armour set together for me.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw you, it was really funny when we'll talk about it later, but when I saw you in the field with all the rest of your leaguish fellows. So yeah, I went around, I think I bought an orc mask on the Friday. So I wanted to go monstering, and PD have got less masks to go around now, based on the fact that COVID rules. So I bought a orc mask. It's really good. It's got like a massive gnarly cross in this cross scar in the head and stuff, which was good fun.
I do feel like I eventually need to invest in an orc mask.
Yeah.
But at the moment I'm focusing on my personal kit, and then I will go and get the orc mask, because I want one with ear holes. Wearing those things, it's so hard to hear.
Yes.
Talking about orc masks, I've got a question about the monstering. So, I mean, there's all this political stuff going on with the Grendel orcs and things.
The Grendel.
So what if you're playing a Jotun or a Drow? Would you still wear orc masks?
A drow?
Sorry. What if you're playing...
It's fine, you can get it wrong on the podcast.
What are
Alex,
they
make
called?
sure you keep that in. Sorry, go on.
What are they called?
Druge.
Druge, yeah, sorry. I did that in game as well,
You
and
did.
everyone was like, oh, there's a fictional... What is this fictional Drow you're talking about? And I was like, oh...
A lot of people turned to you and went, what's a drow?
I mean, fortunately, I corrected myself quite quickly.
Yeah, you did.
Did you suddenly go, what is a drow?
Yeah.
I've said the wrong thing.
So, oh no, sorry,
What
that's
is
my
this?
friend from back home. He's a real arsehole.
Anyway, we've diverted off what your question was.
Anyway, sorry. I've got a question concerning the orc mask. If you're playing a different kind of monster whilst monstering, do you still wear the orc mask?
PD has a dedicated skirmish crew that volunteers that do the other monstering. The players just play either
Orcs or humans.
yeah. So
Druge, Grendel, Jotun, Thule all look like orcs.
Okay, but when you're fighting in a battle, you're fighting mostly people in orc masks.
Yes, yeah.
Um,
There might be a couple of... So this event, there was a couple of Heralds of Canath Canay there, but there wasn't... so like the Valorn, for example, is always skirmish crew, never players. When we fought in E2, we were fighting Marshlings, and obviously no one expects you to bring your own kit for that, so they were wearing like Gimli suits. Gimli suits? Gimli suits.
like
my beard, Nicky Gimli.
There was a bunch of little dwarves running around. No, ghillie suits running around, and they give you those to wear, and they're these big foam claws. But yeah, you're usually an orc or a human that's fighting.
So it's part of a big army that contains different types of monsters, but
Yes.
it's predominantly orcs
Yes.
and humans.
I'm yet to see a marshling, so I just had this image in my head now as headcanon that you're just being swarmed by thousands of little marshmallow people.
No,
I think-
unfortunately not.
I think Nietzsche should go around telling people that that's what he thinks it is.
The marshlings are like some spring magic. I don't know specifically, but you get these little marshlings, which are like little weedy, grassy folk with big claws, and then they get together and they start to vibrate and they become a marsh walker, this horrible massive beast.
Is this Friday morning you were shopping?
Yes.
Friday morning you went shopping.
So I got my orc mask, and then I was planning on black knighting on the weekend. If you want to know more about that, listen to the episode on Dawn History and Culture. So I got my black Black Knight gear together, and so I bought I bought a tabard which I ended up using as a shield cover. This was on another day, but I bought like a mask for like a neckerchief kind of thing around my face and got that going, which was all good fun. And then I don't really know what I did for the rest of the day.
I had quite a bit. I felt like I had a busy Friday before timing, just running around helping you get set up, setting up our little bit of camp. Weapons check.
Yes, of course, weapons check.
Oh, that was fun.
Yes, weapons check was fun because having so much clank, the new halberd, a sword, a buckler, I find it a lot easier rather than carrying all the armour in your hands, because for me, it's Brigandine, very clanky. I have the arms now to go with the breastplate. I find it easier to actually get into the armour to get it checked, so rather than the PD having to look through individual pieces. You're wearing it all at once, so they can just give you a quick airport pat down and see how it is. Unfortunately, I think it was something like 25 degrees at that point, and the weather was beating down.
It was very sunny.
So it was quite amusing. I had Kerry holding my weapons, but also, whilst in queue, just feeding me water from a water skin to make sure I didn't pass out.
Yeah, because not only did you have to wear the full plate armour, but the gambeson as well. Obviously, because that all goes together, and it's so much easier to carry it, not just to check it, like when it's all on, rather than carrying all these individual pieces, because it's very heavy.
Yeah, my Brigandine is measured to my size, and even if it wasn't, it would be incredibly pinchy to wear without a gambeson. But yeah, got that done. We were also the first 3 people me, Jack and Kerry were the first 3 people to pick up our character packs.
Yes, we got to the God Tent, 20 minutes early, maybe half an hour?
20 minutes early. We really didn't fancy sitting in a queue for about an hour. No, an hour is an overestimation, because God is really efficient with giving out character packs. As long as you've got your character number, they'll get you through and really help you out. We were the first 3 in, which...
We were literally in and out within 2 minutes, because individual people saw us separately, because there's about 4 or 5 people posted giving out the character sheet packs. And we gave them our numbers and pretty much immediately got our things and just got out the way. So that was good.
Another big compliment I have for PD this year is, rather than have character computers in the God tent, they've made a separate little tent right next to it with computers, so players can just sit down and make alterations to the characters without having to queue up. They can do it at any point. So after I bought my halberd, I didn't have the skill for it at the time.
So you went and changed
So I went and bought the skill with the 2 XP I saved up on site, which was a big help, and made me feel like I was legitimately playing without saying, I got the halberd skill, but I haven't bought it.
Yeah. And I think that must help as well if your character unexpectedly dies in battle, to be able to quickly make up a new character.
Yeah. And I think it'll help like guild bondings and whatnot. I reckon you'll be able to log on there, select a guild or something along those lines, and just join up. It'll save PD a lot of time, and it will save you a lot of game time.
Cool. So I think I can't remember much else for Friday before time in.
It's all just a beautiful blur of Anvil and walking around and just taking in the good vibes.
Yeah. Collected you, Emma, brought you back to camp.
That was at about 10 past 5, so it was...
Bit of a squeeze, wasn't it, before time in?
Yeah, I always find timing a bit stressful, and it was definitely a lot more stressful this time because I had to get changed into all my stuff. And you feel a little bit, you don't need to feel like this, but it's very much like, oh God, timing has started. Like, we need to go, even though, like, you've got all evening.
Yeah.
As I say, we haven't introduced your character yet, so do you want to quickly introduce yours?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
We've got a new nation with us today.
Yes, guest nation.
A guest nation that I don't really go to.
Yeah, same with me for the Brass Coast, though, to be fair. I spend a lot of my time in Navarre.
Yeah, so my character's name is Esther Alina's Barn.
I thought it was Etsy.
It's Esty, short for Esther.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Tom thinks that I'm called Etsy.
But when I get it right, I'm like, oh no, I've got it wrong. Sorry.
That one time he said, oh, forget it, I'm just going to call you Esty.
And then
I was like, yes, correct,
right
well done.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I am an artisan. My people are Steiner, so I don't know if you've gone into the background of Wintermark, but there is 3 people in Wintermark.
One nation.
Yes.
Are you saying there's 3 people in Wintermark? I think you've got the wrong nation. We're not talking about Urizen here. Oh, that was a low blow. I'm sorry, Urizen. I can do better.
It was 3 people. Gosh, that's going up. I'm sorry. I'm joking.
I thought we didn't nation bash here.
It's not nation bashing.
That's all I do on this show.
That's not nation bashing.
So there's Steiner, Calavesi, and Suak are the 3 people.
Yeah.
And I am Steiner.
Excellent. And then you were getting all kitted up, getting ready to go. And then the thing is, I had somewhere to be at time in. So I was like, I need to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, timing struck. The thing, they need like a big gong.
I would love a
That
bigger...
would be good.
Or
I think I'd cry if they had a gun. That's too stressful
To be fair,
for me.
I think-
I'd be like, oh my god, it started. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Go!
To be fair, I think the thing is, people meet up for the national meetings at about 6 o'clock, but then they don't start till about 5:30 because it takes that long for people to trickle in.
I don't know.
Because we don't have accurate
Us in the
timekeeping.
league being very good with our timekeeping, and another big factor of our nation and how well we do at combat starts at 6:30. We've got to get the national meeting off the ground as soon as possible. But talking about things to actually get time in, I want a big horn like Bomber has from the Battle of 5 Armies.
That
Ooh,
sounds
why
so
don't we
cool.
all get horns and post ourselves in our various camps?
Absolutely.
And as soon as it's time in, we'll all blow the horns.
Yeah, that's a perfect
So,
idea.
who wants to kick us off? Morgan, do you want to kick us off with how it started with Dawn?
Yeah, so I had somewhere to be at time in. So last event, E2, I joined a competition for a sinecure, which is like a resource that someone can win and then is a protector for an amount of time. If you want to hear details of that competition, Tavern to Roll did really good coverage of it. But I was on the opposite team to those two. And our team won, and us and the Navari decided to split the competition. Basically, it was a herb garden, so we got herbs. And I was like, I need to go to Navarre to get these damn herbs. I believe it was 18, so between 6 of us, that's 3 herbs each. And then all the other Dornish guys were going to give them to me, so it was going to be 9 herbs for House Dulac, which was great. Went to Navarre to find everyone. I stood out like a sore thumb. So they were all in like greens and browns and all this, and I was there in my I was wearing my chainmail collecting it to weapons check. Bright blue and white tabard, roses, and I was standing there like, I can barely see any of you, and everyone was like, quite a lot of people were like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm waiting for some herbs, I hope that's all right. I won some herbs in the competition, and I was talking to the Navari that I won it with. It was just quite funny. Waited there for 15 minutes. Eventually, I probably would have been more patient than Tristan, but Tristan was like, no, I'm done, I'm going, can you come find me when they arrive? I ran off, found out later they weren't at the event.
Ooh,
So I was so annoyed because we all thought they were there and they weren't.
precious seconds wasted of your LARP experience.
Precious seconds wasted.
At least you have an impatient character though that just won't wait around.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good.
That impatient
thing,
character left a
really.
lot of things this event because he was bored. And then the next thing was the next thing I saw, I guess, I went back to Dawn because all of a sudden I was like, I had a job list that I completely had gone out of my head. I had so many people I wanted to talk to and to do, forgot everything I wanted to do. I was like, fuck. So I came back, and then the thing I saw was a bunch of. First thing I saw was a friend of mine, Roderick, was ran up to me. I was like, we need a bodyguard job. Are you available? And I said, unfortunately, I need my armor checked before I can do any such kind of combat stuff. I was like, why? What is it? He goes, we have some visitors coming through, and they might get attacked. And I went, who? And he's like, I think they're winter heralds. So basically messengers from this magical plane of winter. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not available, but I'll sure to watch out for what happens. Did some other bits, and then watched this procession arrive. So a bunch of Dornish, mostly House Dagovan, marching these heralds through Empire towards the Glory Square. And they had like masks on. They were all kind of like spooky looking as they arrived. And basically they were here to have a combat. And for every strike that was blown against these heralds, the related Eternal would give a bit of information to Dawn about something, which is really cool to watch. There was a lot of like magic stuff like heralds and things like that happening this event, including Sharknado.
I haven't heard anything of what's happened with Sharknado in this event. I knew it was going to happen,
Yeah.
but I've not heard any of the results.
I think everything went fine. They definitely we'll talk about it more on the Saturday, but they definitely did the thing they needed to do to not have a massacre.
I think you'll have to explain what Sharknado is.
I will. Not yet, but I will definitely. It will keep people excited.
Yes.
What's Sharknado?
We'll find out next week.
I believe it was a set of very cheesy films. Famously bad, some say.
Somebody in character suggested an arcane projection of a shark event, but wrapped around in a whirlwind of water and wind, and we're all like, oh, what a good idea. I wonder where you got that from. Which is very funny. But yeah, I saw that, and then I spent a lot of time causing some trouble for the Two Having to Roll pair, because they have got a test of ardour where they have to collect love stories. And it was just very fun, because I was kind of acting as like... I never said I was a confidant. I never said I wasn't going to tell each other where the other one is and what they're doing, but I kept being like, oh, so how's your test going? Where are you at?
Sorry, I thought it was a test of metal.
Sorry, yes, it is a test of metal. It's just a very... You're right, thank you. It's a very love-oriented test of metal.
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
No more. But basically, I just kept speaking to them. It's like, oh, well, what are you doing? Where are you going? What have you found? And then they'd tell me, and then go to the other one. They found this. They're here, and they're doing this. What have you found? What are you doing? And then kept going between them to the point where Sir Godric saw me. So I'm not telling you what I'm doing. I know what you like, which was a very funny moment. I was like, you never asked me to keep a secret. I was just having a little bit of fun.
Was it Sir Roderick?
No, Godric.
Sorry, I thought you said Sir Roderick.
No, I did call Godric Roderick at one point. There's too many Odrics.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Like Tristan's.
Too many Tristans as well. Yeah, the message of my Friday was just kind of socialising with nobles, because my test of metal involves speaking and doing things with nobles. I wanted to get to know them, and then drinking into the night and doing various other things.
Very nice.
So as soon as it hit time in, I went to go find the national meeting in the Brass Coast. Bumped into a couple of people that I knew there, met a couple of new people as well. Found a Navari actually wandering around right at time in. It was her first time at Anvil, so I took her off to see our Navar friend.
Oh, that's nice.
Took her to the national meeting because I had a bit of time.
How was the national meeting?
Well, it was all going swimmingly until the Dornish started to march straight through our circle, and everyone was very cross at them.
I've said that wasn't their fault. I'm very sorry for that.
Well, you know what, Lupita was cross at the time, but after speaking to Tristan the next day, she did understand.
Winter Heralds do what Winter Heralds do.
All the Brass Coasters going, go around, and the Dornish were like, we can't, we're going through.
That's just gone all over.
Well, that's what we thought. We thought it was just them being stubborn.
It wasn't. It was the Winter Heralds were like, we are going in this direction, we're not moving.
Sounds a little bit like that very famous children book. We can't go over it. We can't go under it. We can't go around it. We have to go through it.
Yeah. As I say, we were shouting at them and we're thinking they were just being stubborn. I don't speak for my entire nation, might add, but I was looking at them very crossly. So the national meeting went on as always. People going around the circle and sort of saying what they're getting up to, and a lot of people asking for help to gather resources for things. At this point I was quite tired and I wasn't taking an awful lot of it in, and just decided to sort of have a drink and whatever for the rest of the evening. I just wanted to enjoy the taverns a little bit, though I did end up going around with some people, helping them find things and following along with their plot a little bit.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, what did you do, Nietzsche?
Oh, Uncle Nietzsche, he just poured himself a cup of tea and had a nice quiet evening in. Now I went to the Defertons ball. Always very good, always very professional. It was the Harlequin leading at this time. So Harlequin is one of our free egregores, who helped me back in 2019 to find some plot as a new player. So that was very good. The Harlequin, the way we did it, rather than everyone speak, he selected certain people to speak. So he selected the Reckoner, another egregore, to come and say what his duty was. He brought on a Kikabeo to say what their duty was. A mountebank, and said what they do, their magicking. So it was a very, very good character introduction to a lot of the main league characters or types of people that are there. Unfortunately, I don't think they really spoke about Bravos, which I found quite offensive, but hey ho, we are the basic beating sticks of the league.
No, you got to give a little speech as well, didn't you?
No, I didn't do a little speech in the end.
You were preparing one, weren't you?
I was preparing one in my head in case we had to talk. 'Cause if I remember back to April, other people were talking, but the league seemed a lot busier this time.
Yeah, it's probably good that they made it a bit more efficient. Ours didn't seem very efficient.
Yeah, I think not to bash, some nations' national meetings are a bit more fluid than others.
Some don't have them.
Yeah.
Which nations don't have them? Because I might go to there.
Dawn doesn't have one.
Oh, well, there's a temptation.
Navarre has their national standing.
Navarre were talking for all evening. I was waiting for our friend to come out of Navarre, and he was there for hours.
National standing, because I know the lap noobs have like their own striding has a standing, but then there's national standing.
I think there was national standing, and then there was, I think, a military standing that he was then with after. So I think there was various meetings back to back, so you didn't have to go to all of them.
Yeah.
But yes, after the Depton Ball happened, or the announcement parts happened, we got to mingle with the high folks of the league, rub some shoulders with some important people. So Uncle Nietzsche, being Uncle Nietzsche, saw this as the perfect opportunity to start recruiting for the Jolly Jackdaw cartel people. So I put my most stately, gruff, homeless voice on and started recruiting.
Don't do it, because you do it quietly.
All right there. No, that sounds more macho, but you get the idea. How about you thought about joining the Jolly Jackdaw cartel? We're one of the fucking newest cartels that are going to be joining the league. You're going to help us build from the ground up. You can be great. We'll build you up to be the greatest brother we ever did see. When I'm trying to whisper, I sound more like a farmer, but sorry about that.
No, you definitely sound like Uncle Nietzsche.
Which was great, because me being a ridiculous, homeless-seeming guild master...
You just said homeless seeming. You are homeless. You sleep in my hayloft.
Yeah, I have a tent for Ranville and a housekeeper, so...
Don't know how that works.
Well, I mean, you have a tent, and in order to stay in the tent, we have a contract where I will clean up after you a little bit.
For all the Peter knows, Uncle Nietzsche just breaks into someone else's tent before you get there, and it's like, right, this is my home.
You can stay in the tent for the weekend as long as you tidy up a bit.
But, having arranged to build the Jolly Jackdaws before coming to E3, I have been talking to someone who has transferred over from Varushka to the league.
In character or out of character?
Out of character, so
the
Varushka wasn't for him, and he saw how much fun me and his friend were having in the league, because we're such a great fun nation full of shenanigans. So he's scrapped his old Varushkan character and made a new character. I'm terrible at remembering names. I remember his first name was Salt, so I just called him Mr. Salt.
Wait, is that not his name in the league? Or is that just what you call him?
Well, his first name's Salt. I don't know what his surname is. I'm terrible at memory. I don't even remember your name half the time.
Is it his first character's name?
I don't know what his first character name is. He's gone. He's dead.
That's fair.
Maybe retired, but who knows. I really like the kind of relationship we had. So I had a wheeling, dealing, bullshitting vibe around him. And he was trying to be my silent, stoic bodyguard, trying to keep me alive. Yes, sir. No, sir. You know you don't make it terribly hard to keep you alive, sir. So yeah, I got to do some wheeling and dealing, talking to people, trying to introduce them to the Jolly Jackdaws, and I think I have managed to get through to a few. Or at least it got our name off the ground a bit. I didn't talk to that many, because when it got to 6:30, our national training starts for our military unit, the National Block. Now, Gabriel Barossa and his sister, I can't remember her name, it's like Rosa Barossa, something along those lines. I'm terribly sorry if that's not the case. Get the National Block together and we practice military drills, because the league has a firm belief it doesn't matter if you can stab a sword as good as anyone else. We win because we move as a cohesive unit. And if you move and work together as a concise unit, you pack the biggest punch, and you're also able to get out alive, which we'll talk about for the Saturday's battle, because, my God, we barely escaped.
Yes.
Saturday was intense.
Saturday was a day. Anything else interesting on Friday?
Many other things, but I feel like we shall talk to Esty first.
Hey.
Hey.
You got it right.
Do I get a cookie?
No.
I don't have any cookies.
Oh. I ate all the cookies.
Yeah. So timing, as I've sort of said a little bit before, was quite stressful. So I think I managed to get to the Wintermark National Meeting, which is called the Moot, at 6:10. Unfortunately, it wasn't really what I thought it was going to be. So I thought that it was a bit of a kind of welcome to Wintermark or welcome back to Wintermark. And it would be a bit more kind of chill. I don't think it helped that I found the transition from being at work to then suddenly being in Anvil quite hard.
Quite jarring.
Yeah, but everything was very loud. There was lots of shouting, lots of people talking about things I had no idea what they were. And I was just kind of stood on my own, and so it was quite hard. So I think I went back to my tent after that, and then decided to try and find Tristan. And I did spend a good 10 minutes just kind of wandering around the Dawn encampment crying.
Oh, bless you.
Aww.
Well, it can be a lot, can't it, to be fair?
Yeah. I mean, I do have anxiety, so that's
Yeah.
just every day for me.
You weren't weeping at the glorious sight of dawn just burning your
All those
eyes.
flowers.
All the light shining off the
Yeah,
clanking armour.
It was just too much colour, clearly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, then I went back to the tent, and then I think you came.
I came to check on you and I found you.
Yes. I can't remember what I did after that.
I can't really. We gallivanted around Dawn a little bit, I think. No.
Yeah.
No, didn't we? Did we go to the marches on Friday?
No, not in the evening.
I don't know. Friday just feels so long ago, especially
Yeah,
how
I can't
jam
remember.
Yeah,
packed.
I think we talked about going, but I decided I didn't really.
No,
feel
we
up
went to
it.
Wise Guys, didn't we?
Yes, and because
And we met you.
with you. We decided to go to bed early.
Yes,
we
of
were
course,
We had a long conversation about the benefits of going to bed early. Like
Yeah.
the sensible beings we are.
And we were wanting to make sure we had enough energy for the Saturday as well, because I think just from how late we got there on the Thursday night, and then sleeping in a tent for me, and obviously being at work all day for
Yeah.
you, and getting things set up and how warm it was, we just got wiped out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we just decided we felt a little bit like we had a bit of FOMO, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we were a bit like, I think this is the best option, so we have a good Saturday.
You said you felt that you started drinking just a little bit too early.
Yeah,
was
that's
right?
the thing. I thought I was really excited for timing, so I had some wine sort of on my way to the national meeting, and then because I started drinking early, I made the mistake of, like, I didn't drink too much, but I drank probably the same amount, but a lot more spread out. So rather than making me merry and drunk, I just ended up getting really sleepy. Yeah, which was a massive shame.
100%.
Though, while I know that you two, Esty and Nietzsche, definitely struggled sleeping with all the noise around with people partying. I don't know how you felt about that, Tristan.
Was actually quite lucky that I had earplugs.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend, if you're sleeping in character, bring some earplugs.
Yeah. Though
Absolutely.
I personally find it like quite ambient, like having a bit of noise in the background.
Yeah.
Though we were talking about how I was from quite a big family and I can't sleep
Yeah.
with noise in the background. Yeah, so I quite like listening to people just sort of doing little songs and chanting and having a good time, and it made me feel like I was still part of the vibe, even though I was turning in for the night and going to sleep. I was like, yeah, I'm still at Anvil though.
Yeah.
It's funny actually because I think we set off back to our tents at about 10:30. I think by the time I'd got my makeup off and all my gear off, I was in bed about 11 o'clock, and it was pretty much as soon as my head hit the pillow, some lute started, a couple of tambourines
The
thrown in there.
night got louder and louder and louder.
Singing, drums. It really kicked off because we had
We were,
opposite-
oh my god, we were across from the
Star
Star
Bar.
Bazaar bar.
Yeah.
Because it was really funny, because I said to the Dawn camp planners, like, can we be somewhere quiet?
I suppose it's quiet for dawn, but they don't know
It
what
usually is quiet.
Yeah,
Coast
exactly.
camps are doing.
So we was like, that's usually the quietest part of dawn. We were like, sick, we'll be fine. We got there and I was setting up and I looked across, I was like, fuck.
To be fair, they seemed a bit quieter on the Saturday night.
Yeah, because
Like,
everyone was
just
hungover
chill.
as shit.
Yeah,
from
everyone was
Friday night.
lying on giant beanbags going,
I spoke to
Yeah.
quite a few people who were like last night was...
I
A lot,
heard a few awful sounds coming from the portaloos. People just chundering.
Yeah, there was a pile of sick very near there.
Lovely.
I have to hand it to PD though. For the most part, the portaloos were kept on very good condition.
yes.
Oh yeah.
I don't really want to share this hack, but I will. Portaloos are easiest to clean the toilets now because no one wants to use them.
I go for the portaloo every time.
Every time.
Oh yeah. Well, in fact, there's the fact that there was one set of the toilet block nearest to Navarre have actual running water in the sink, so I kept using those. But they stank so badly. Like, rotting eggs is not even close to what it was like.
The portaloos are 100%.
I just liked washing my hands with
I feel
water.
like it's like you do that, then you go running water, I guess.
Yeah,
I
well, exactly.
I get the impression that the portaloos are owned by a different company.
Yes.
And they do clean them very regularly.
Yeah,
because they
they're
kept
really
coming
well
in, didn't they?
maintained.
Well, I guess you have to
Yeah.
because it's only so
Well, they
much
actually
to
kept
get
on top of toilet roll a lot better this time, though, to be fair. Though, another hack, carry around toilet paper
Yes.
in your bag or handbag or even some in your pocket. Though I will clarify as well, there isn't no way to wash your hands in the portaloos, they just have hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
So, rather than becoming the Toilet Critics podcast, have you
Some
got any...
toilets, that's the
I
name of the
do,
podcast.
yes,
isn't
I
it?
do like to review toilets.
Yeah, actually, fuck you. No, so the...
Well, our podcast hasn't gone down the shitter yet. Have you got anything less from Friday night, Tristan or Morgan?
Yeah, well, because then we went to the bar, didn't we? So it was us three in Wise Guys and Dawn.
Yes.
And our friend, I only know his
Godrich.
out of character name is Gareth. He
Oh,
was there. We met him there.
Lord Talabrin Dulac, who was my Earl, who set my test.
And Jack was there too.
And
Yeah, I would have our friend.
Jack, whose catchphrase whenever he saw us was, so you're still alive then, which I enjoyed.
Not sure if that's a positive or a negative. Really.
No, but
Depends
we...
on the intonation.
Yeah.
That was a really fun night. So I had to chat with... I was glad he was there because I wanted to chat with my Earl about my test and some specifics and the bets of what I do. Not showing it on here because there's elements which is better if
If
people
you
don't
want
know
to
what
know,
they
you
are.
have to ask in character, and even then, you have to be
Even then,
privy to
it
certain information.
Depends who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it might just be, I have no idea what you're talking about. You'll have to...
But yeah, so I spent a lot of time with that. I can't remember if there was anyone else at the bar with us.
I don't believe
I don't
it
think so.
was.
There was only three of you guys, because we were sort of sat at the edge of the table,
Yeah,
and we were just talking
were.
between ourselves.
I also can't remember what motivated me to go to bed. Because
You went to bed much later than I
I
did.
did, but it was only around midnight.
I imagine you were just tired.
No, it usually isn't that. There's usually something that... I think... Maybe me and Gareth both said, I think it's time for bed.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think we moved tables. Basically, Friday was a blur. It was really good fun
Yeah.
though. I love Wise Guys. Best bar in the Empire.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It was too busy on the Saturday night, though.
It was, sadly.
I feel like I don't think I spent any time with you
No, you
lot on
didn't.
Friday night. Did
No.
I pass you and Adorn as Gentleman on Friday? Or was that Saturday?
I think you passed me a few times, but we never...
I just remember coming one day. I came back past like a cannonball, I think, whilst you were passing out, and Tristan of the Tulips, how are you? And just the face of utter resignation.
Tristan's face
God.
every time he sees Uncle Nietzsche. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Not
Nietzsche,
this guy.
well... which I enjoy, which is good as well, because
It's some good ribbing. It's
it's
fantastic
Nietzsche,
character.
it's Nietzsche, not Tom. Every time I see Nietzsche, I'm like, fucking hell. And then I'll be like, I'll turn to him and I'll say, this is the one that does this stupid thing or believes this inane theory.
Or breaks into my hayloft.
That's
Yes.
it. If anyone wants to know Nietzsche's new thing, obviously, last event it was not believing in the
No
Valor. Now it's
spoilers.
not.
Don't spoil it.
Okay. Well, you can find us.
You guys are trying to get me killed on this podcast.
You're trying to get yourself killed.
No, I love Nietzsche.
People can find out in game what your ridiculous and heretical theories are.
You are going to get killed if you keep saying these things. Though.
Nietzsche's so small, no one notices him.
but
So
yeah,
far.
Friday night was good fun. I think Saturday
I've got a lot more to talk about my Friday.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. Basically, Friday was a great time. Worked out the minutiae of my test. So Nietzsche, what was the rest of your Friday?
So, after the national training, once again, very valuable. If your nation does have training, I advise go to it because it will definitely help you stay alive on the battlefield. And you know what, when your general is shouting you orders, what
they
the
mean.
fuck you have to do. If your general is shouting orders and you're not obeying them, you're putting yourself and your nation at danger.
Saw a lot of that going on.
Yeah, we'll get back onto that with the battles, but if you can go to them, they're a lot of fun, and I think they make you feel like a legitimate soldier prepping for war. It makes you feel a little bit more authentic. I know you're using foam weapons.
I think Dawn needs to get a bit of military training going on.
Well, I'm sure you could pay a leaguishman to teach you how to fight
No,
properly.
there's definitely people who Dawn could do it, but it'd just because we fight in lances. But yeah, no, Dawn could definitely do it with some national training. I think that'd be quite fun. Might suggest that to the lance captain next time. Sorry, go on, Tom.
So yeah, once that was done, it was like, oh, that was an intense first little hour. I went to my favourite drinking hole.
Wise guys.
No, the Boar's Head in Navarre, which, yeah, it seems crazy for a leaguishman of my standing to be drinking a Navarre bar, but I absolutely love it. An old friend of mine from home, way back, runs it, and it's a prosperity bar, so you pay what you feel the drink is worth. So for new players, you can pay maybe a couple of rings less if you're struggling for money. It'd be nice if you think the booze is worth it to pay a good price and not just try to rip the bar off. But they make such a delicious elderflower cider. I keep going back. I know I need to go and visit the other bars in the nation, because I think they said there's about 30 or 40 of them. But I just keep going to the Boar's Head because it's got some nice seating.
Sorry, hang on, that just processed. 30 or 40 bars?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Throughout the empire.
So there's 10 nations. Oh, that's fine. That's like 3 or 4.
I think it's more 30, but can't remember exactly. So there is, if you're a new player, there's a lot of bars to wet your whistle at.
The Marchers do a bar crawl, which is meant to be quite good fun.
Yeah, so went to them, had a talk with them. I did spend a lot of time at the Boar's Head, which I will probably go through in later, maybe Saturday.
Yeah.
After my time at the Boar's Head, Salt, my bodyguard, found me and said, do you want to go on a skirmish? And I said, you know what? It's Friday night. It's cooled down a bit. It's a league-related skirmish, because it was involved getting back some cursed masks. And obviously, because magic in the league revolves around rings and masks, I thought, yeah, this is a very league-centric skirmish. I'll go on it. So after shanghaiing a poor team of passing strangers into getting me into my armour, which is a multi-person job, I clanked off to the skirmish and took my helmet out for the first time.
Nice.
And I have to say, it was a lot of fun.
What did you do? So what was the actual, who you fighting kind of thing?
So, surprisingly, we were fighting the Grendel.
Oh, yeah, no, because there's a schism in the Grendel, isn't there?
I don't know too much about that.
I won't share too much because it's good stuff to find out in game. But I know Grendel have got some stuff going on in there.
All I knew was we needed 20 leaguish people, or at least 10 leaguers, to go on this skirmish to make it legitimate and get past through the gate. We got about 15, so we were good to go. It was led by a Highgarder. Highborn, sorry. Yeah.
No, it was just, it wasn't, it was just, yeah.
I don't really know much about Highguard, so if we've got any Highguard people who want to school me, let me know. Morgan, your face just says it all. So, yeah, it was getting dark, it was nice and atmospheric. Hour 20 marched through the gate, led by the Highgarder, and once we were through the gate, we met with an orc.
A Grendel.
A Grendel, who led us to her countryman.
Grendel, who you don't like, Kerry. Right? Brass Coast, don't like Grendel?
Well, yeah, I suppose. Like, Grendel have taken over territories within, like, froth,
right,
which is, a bit of a sore spot. Though in general, Brass Coast like orcs. I mean, Grendel specifically, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys don't like Grendel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, as we were marching out, we came across this orc. She led us to her countrymen. We saw them coming through the bushes slowly and ominously. So we set up a perimeter, and a couple of us went to negotiate. The orc with the highborn went to negotiate with the Grendel that we met. We held them back and watched out for reinforcements. I was on the other flank. It's only a small little two-flank operation, but I couldn't really see what was going on over there. But the negotiations didn't go well, and it turns out the negotiations didn't go well is because the masks they had were cursed.
Right.
And controlling the Grendel. So
Right.
despite the fact we were negotiating peacefully, we want the mask back. Give us the mask back and we will go. It did devolve into combat. We took out the Grendel quite handily. None of us were lost on the skirmish.
That's good.
Which is always a win. But we weren't there to kill the Grendel, only incapacitate them.
Gotcha.
So, unfortunately, one Grendel ended up dying, so it wasn't a completely flawless victory, annoyingly.
That means that the Empire has to pay the Grendel some money, I think.
Well, it's not me having to pay it.
No, I know.
So,
We don't care.
hey ho. But yes, we got, I think it was 4 out of the 6 masks back. And as soon as you kind of took the masks off the Grendel, because you had to search the bodies and they were wearing them, they came out of it like, where am I? Who are you?
Oh, so completely like...
What are we doing here?
That's really interesting.
And we were explaining, we're taking the masks because the curse is like, but you're wearing a mask. For those who don't know, Uncle Nietzsche wears a mask because he's a Liga. So I had to explain, oh no, I don't wear this mask because it's powerful or magical. Oh, so that's because I'm fucking ugly under it. Which seemed to get a bit of a chuckle from them. We only got 4 out of the 6, though, I believe, from the top of my head. It might be different, but
Partial success.
playing a Moog, a disposable Moog in a skirmish or battlefield, you only get a limited amount of the information, which I actually really enjoy because it makes it seem more real. You don't know what's going on. It's like a video game. I think you'll lose something if you know all the details and what you're going on around
It's so much more realistic to not be able to have access to every bit of information all the
100%.
time.
So we got 4 off the bodies, and we had a few march out a bit further into the woods, scout out and see if we could find the other 6. It was all seeming very nice and orderly till I think there was a breakdown in communication. I think we had a bit longer to search for the mask, but someone shouted 2 minutes to get back through the gate.
Oh, shit.
So we all legged it through the gate. I think the highborn was like, where are you going? But it had already been said.
Well, this is the issue with them, incorrect.
I also jogged for the gate because there's no way I'm sacrificing myself and getting stuck on the other side.
No, you wouldn't die. You just get gate shock.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you get if your gate closes, you can still come through. There's like a window of time. But you get a condition called gate shock, which I don't know too much about. Do you know about gate shock?
No, I've not heard about it.
No, so I don't know the details. But if you get through too quickly, you can get fucked up by the gate.
Right.
So there'll be various roleplay effects.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, we all got back through the gate. Now, where it really kicked off was when we got through the gate, someone in the league stole one of the masks and started darting down the street.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a more intense moment.
Oh shit.
It was so much more intense than the actual skirmish yourself. So she shoots off, followed by her countrymen chasing her down.
Was it because she was affected by the curse?
No, I will get onto it in a second. We found out because I couldn't run that fast because I was in Clank and quite a few of us were in Clank. It was actually, I think he was a Navari man who managed to catch up and cleaved her leg.
Yeah.
She went down, surrounded by halberds and other long, great weapons. There might have even been a crossbow pointed at her at this point, and tried to negotiate for the mask back. Turns out the person hiring people to go on the skirmish said, oh, you can be paid in one of these masks if you get them back.
But if she thought that was payment, why did she run?
Because she stole it off someone and ran.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That's good fun.
It was
Good
good
role
fun.
play.
So she's been surrounded by halberds and whatnot.
Was she charged with a crime?
You see, I'm not sure. I don't think she was, because
I suppose we'll keep it off the table then. But...
I don't know if I can mention names, but she was quite an influential member of an influential family in the league. So there's a lot of league general characters just pointing her down, but then someone runs off to find her influential family to sort this out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this is all going on. The Highborn is trying to talk her to giving the mask back, but I think my understanding was the curse was it makes her very possessive and disobedient. So he's ordering her to give the mask back, and the mask is just making her more and more disobedient.
Did he know the roleplay effects of the mask? Or
I don't think so at the time, because he had to then go and get them investigated.
Could have maybe
But
changed
it was
exactly gone reverse psychology.
a good 10 minutes that this character was on the floor,
Don't you
surrounded by weapons, and the negotiations going on with this. The highborn looked like she was close to just cleaving off the arm and taking it. And there was other characters trying to calm him down. It was such a great moment of roleplay. Once the mask was back, it all did kind of disperse, and we went back to our nation.
It is brilliant when you get caught in those little moments of conflict, and it's all in roleplay and it's all in good fun. But you hear people and they sound so serious about these things as well.
Yeah.
I love witnessing drama. In character, out of character. I'm just there for it. There for the drama.
But after that was the skirmish done. I think it was a partial success, or nearly entirety of the success. We got most of the mask back anyway, and they did what... I'd had no idea what happened after that. No one got back to me.
So, can I just ask a question about the skirmish?
Of course.
Talk about this more later, but so that was people getting you together to go on the skirmish?
Yes.
Because you get recruited in the league, don't you? For skirmishes?
The league does have we have skirmish captains who go out and find people.
Because we have a skirmish captain as well, but I'll talk about it more day, but I want to chat with PD about it, but there was... The way things happened weren't great for me, but that's more of a Saturday thing. But
yeah, it wasn't actually the skirmish captain recruiting for this one. It was another character. I think if the skirmish captain did it, he would not have promised a mask to this person.
Well, yeah.
But I'm glad this guy did, because it made for the great roleplay moment. And drama in the league is always loved. So once the skirmish was done, I got out my armour and decided, you know what, I've earned another drink. So me and Mr. Salt... He stayed in his armour because he was camping out of character. Obviously, you've got a marked further to get out of your armour, and he's got much lighter ones than I do. He just has a metal breastplate at the front, some greaves and some poly shoulder pads, so much lighter than complete metal brig. But we got invited to... Well, we walked past a little camp called... I'm sure they won't mind me mentioning the name. La Passion in the league.
Oh, yes. I've heard... Morgan talking about La Passion, something very amusing. Was that Saturday?
No, it was
Friday.
Yeah,
we'll hear your experience first.
They were great. They never met them before myself, but I saw them on the skirmish. So do you guys want to come over, have a drink, talk about the skirmish? And I think this is one of the reasons why skirmishes are so good if you can get on them, because there's far fewer players, especially the 20 ones. You can build up some great bonds, people recognise you. It was a good way of getting the Jolly Jackdaws name out there, because they were like, who are you, the Crimson Reapers? Because me and Salt just seem to, by happenstance, have colours exactly the same as the Crimson Reapers.
Yeah.
But Salt, the player is called Lewis who plays him.
Yeah.
He is very good at art and has painted some beautiful jackdaws onto his shoulder plates.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So there are great advertisements, but it was just fun to say, no, we're not the Reapers, we're the Jackdaws. The Jolly Jackdaws.
That's very good.
So it's like, oh, it's the Jolly Jackdaws. Come on over, join us for a drink.
Is that the Passion a house of adult entertainment?
I think only one of them is a Kikabeo.
Gotcha. Because we went over. I won't tell too much because it's Sir Roderick from Tavern to Roll is looking for tales of true love, which is hard to find in the league because I don't think they believe in it.
It's all about good business, from my understanding.
Like your business marriages.
We turned up to La Passion. We were looking for stories of true love, and we wanted to get where to start. And I was with another Dornish person. I haven't spoken to them out of, so I don't know if I've got permission to mention them. But another Dornish person and Sir Roderick. We were walking towards this place, and it was surrounded by hearts. And rather jokingly, said, "Oh, we might find a tale of true love there." Obviously, it was definitely not the kind of place you would find a story of true love. But I did leave him talking to the leaguish egregore.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Godric thought you were being serious and went up to the...
I don't know. Either that or they ensnared us in. I can't quite remember.
I thought you told me that he went up to someone and asked.
He did ask.
Oh, do you ever... And they were like, for a price?
Yeah, that was it. It was very fun.
Do you have true love? I mean, we can get you whatever you need.
But sitting with Le Passion was a lot of fun. They
Oh,
were just
legend.
4 great guys.
They
I
seem
think,
like great
I
fun.
think they were ex-Dornish who all got wiped out in a previous year.
yeah,
So they were
okay.
obviously all friends from beforehand. They invited us over. They gave us some mead. He actually gave us a big spiel about how he made his mead. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
We sat there talking about how the skirmish went, the drama.
Yeah.
And one of the more fun things for me were 2 very respectable guilds talking about purely hypothetical future crimes within the league and potential ideas.
I mean, it's something you've got to think about.
Now, I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's some brilliant ones that we think makes for some spicy international incidents.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you do because it did look very funny.
So they were a great laugh. They were also talking about buying my vote because there was an election happening the next day.
Oh, yeah.
So they wanted to see if I wanted to sell my vote. Unfortunately, I didn't find them in time.
That's a shame.
I kind of...
Did you do any voting?
I forgot.
Of course you did.
I was too busy drinking.
Of course you were.
Shame I didn't though. Then again, it was Savos, not Tasato.
Yeah, okay.
But I think as a business owner, I still get to vote. From my understanding,
Yeah,
I'm not
I think
entirely
so.
sure if it's city per city or just business.
I'm not sure.
But apparently the senator got replaced in Savos, which caused a bit of drama. Don't really know much about it, so it would have been a good time to sell my vote. In 2019, last election I heard about, it was a landslide for the senator, so it was a bit worthless. He had a lot of support.
Yeah.
But after Le Passion, I carried on to the Merchant Princes meeting.
Oh, yes.
And you recruited every single merchant to your guild, right?
I wish I could say that. I really do.
Arrived rather wine-stained.
Oh yes, I had the appropriate amount of red wine over my shirt, as a truly respectable Count of Vagabond should have, and plonked down for the Merchant Princes meeting. Now, obviously, I don't want to say too much about their plans and whatnot, but the Merchant Princes meeting is anyone who's got an established guild within the league can go. Which is probably a bad thing, because me and Salt were just sat there like complete imposters. Like, we own 5 thrones between us. But just seeing the amount of money being thrown around by these players was ridiculous. I remember realising, like, we've already sent 20 thrones for the support, but just take 20 thrones extra tonight and we can get this done.
Well, it's like when I was at my nation meeting, they were like, oh yes, we need 60 thrones for this. And I was like, I don't have a throne.
Yeah. Don't even have one.
I have half a throne.
It's funny, isn't it? Because there's a 100 throne coin.
Yeah.
I would love to
great.
see
One
one.
day.
But it was very interesting. It was very good for getting information what's going on in the league, business ideas, political standpoints, various different revenge plots and whatnot. Not that the league would ever consider revenge. We lead the nation and the
Depends how
empire in
profitable
being
it is.
civil. We're a true staple of civilization.
I think you're a bit of a backstabbing bunch of...
We're not very.
Sneaky, yeah. Well,
We
maybe.
stab you in the front.
So if someone's going to pay you to take revenge on someone, then you're going to take that up, right?
I'm a legitimate businessman. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's legitimate business, isn't it?
Gonna say.
But it was very interesting. It felt very Machiavellian scheming mixed with international trade unions. But it was very interesting. I got to see a lot of the faces in the league. I got to see from the sheer amount of money being thrown around.
Looking at how much wealth so many people have got, like how they require, and also like, despite the fact there's lots of players who've been in the game for the whole game, how disparate the wealth is. So I know the Seneschal for House Dulac of Viridian is very good at his job, and it's crazy to see it all go through. I'm kind of looking forward to not having to worry about it.
Yeah. It was a good way for me to get it very, very light toe in the political game, because you get a couple of snippets of what's happened in the Senate. Though admittedly for me it just sounded business, 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 profit, profit,
So
business,
Dawn is glory, 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 and League is business, business, business.
profit.
Profit.
And they were very nice. They gave me a seat, had some mead. It was a proper nice shindig, and I set off on my way. But I first went to the military meeting about what was happening the next day in our quest to go to Zenith. So the league, because the national block is so small, they, instead of having just the captains, we feel like we can get the whole national block together and explain where we're going tomorrow, what the objective is, and get our group as informed as possible. Because as well as manoeuvring being important thing that's going to keep you alive and ensure victory, information is just as important.
From what I hear, there was very little information.
Yes, but it was still good to know what we were going after.
The report I heard was that everything that was said had already been said before. Nothing new was brought up, and everyone was like, well, fuck.
I think had it from a lot of nations, though, that they didn't get told what the objective was. It's just like, you're just here to kill Druge, and if you see a light go in that direction, we were at least knowing we were looking for targets. I can't remember the name. With
generals.
Pardon?
We're looking for generals with bags.
Yeah, generals with bags. I can't remember the kind of in-character names. With bags, and loot the bags. Don't drink the potions.
I thought it was generals. It was we were looking.
I thought they were like.
So we were specifically looking for a Druge general, but there was 5 lookalikes, and there was some heralds of the day realm. Can't remember which eternal. To come along, and they were going to do a ritual which would allow us to identify them. So the objectives were protect the heralds, get them to the mines, get them to do the rituals simultaneously, and then from there it was, once it happens, the general will be highlighted by the magic. Yeah.
So it seems like you guys were informed as well. I just think a lot of frontline troops don't get the information or don't bother finding out beforehand.
That's so shit. Like, not knowing why you're there is a fucking mess.
I feel like you should have at least a representative who then feeds back that
information.
Oh,
that's the idea. That's the idea of the captains. But
our lance captain told us exactly what we were doing.
As we're saying, it cuts out a lot because the national block is so small. We can just get everyone in the block there and tell them off the cuff.
I suppose that's the issue, perhaps, with larger nations. It's so much harder to circulate that information.
You still fight in groups, I guess. But
we do, but it's easier if everyone knows, or it saves the captain in the morning having to tell everyone.
That's what I mean. So, surely you'd have, okay, so Village Council, this is what's going on. Filter that down to the captains, then filter it down to their groups. Because, I remember the first one, to be fair, I didn't know what was going on. But that's good.
But you have a lot more wings than us. We just have the national block, and then we've got the mercenaries.
It was good that you guys knew.
Yeah.
Whereas the other nations didn't know. That's a bit crap.
Yeah. But this is from other players. I haven't interviewed every person in the nation. So yeah, that was a very useful meeting. And after finding out we were going to fight the Druge and go to Zenith, I went and got anointed. And this was probably about 12:30 in the morning. I got anointed. I was went to the first Spark Carter. Good friends with the Jolly Jackdaw cartel. Absolutely brilliant. They're like, give us a crown in the morning because I didn't have my coin purse on me. We'll do the anointment now. And they did a little performance with the candle. It was really, really nice and quite an intense moment.
I love the anointing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think I was anointed with ambition. So I was like, we can slaughter these Druge and succeed in this. Make the Empire more prosperous and better for everyone, that type of thing. And after that pretty much wraps up my night, other than traipsing around. I think I did 2 tours around, trying to see if any of you guys were awake, so I wanted to continue drinking and plot. Unfortunately, I think if you're not hanging out with the people in the daytime, it's very hard to find people at night when it's dark.
At least when it goes dark, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to see everyone.
And obviously, because we're not all together in a friendship nation, we're friends, but we're all doing different things, it can be difficult to hook up at night.
If only there was a club of friendship that we could all join and meet each other.
I will never go near those people. I almost end up walking in on a friendship cult meeting back in 2019.
It's just a club.
Apparently, they mix a mean drink, from what I've heard.
Yeah, but I was just about to walk in. It's like, ooh, plot's going, and we all my friend the anthem. Right, and I just walked in, did the Grandpa Simpson, and walked straight back out.
So I don't think we've explained what it is, but I don't think we will.
No,
that's something for you to find out at Anvil, I think.
I think there's some stuff in there. There's been some stuff in the Oathright, one of the Anvil newspapers, about the Friendship Club.
Interesting.
I think that wraps up Friday.
Yeah, I think so. I think our night was just drinking at Wise Guys, chatting. Me being like, I haven't really done anything tonight, and then kind of being comfortable with that, being like, you know what, it's fine. I've chilled. I've met quite a few new people, met some old friends, and then got ready to sleep and go hard on Saturday.
Yeah, prepare for the next time.
Tom has had. I can't believe how
Yeah.
busy your Friday
Yeah,
was.
I didn't
realise
That
how
is
much you'd done.
insane. That is
Yeah.
impressive.
Thank you.
My Saturday was busy, but that's crazy.
I think
Yeah.
you did more on Friday night than I did the
Oh,
whole
that's-
weekend.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I seem to be top heavy on my
Yeah.
plot.
I very
You get
much.
worn out.
It was, to be honest, it was my Friday which kind of inspired me on Saturday to be like, right, I'm gonna find a thing to do, which I'll talk about more in the next episode. But
I think not bragging and trying to plug the Jolly Jackdaws cartel, but by coming up with this idea, it's granted me a lot of pathways into exclusive, and I've got the quotation marks because nothing in Empire is hugely exclusive. Clubs. So if you are willing to put the effort in and try doing something new and leave your comfort zone, like I never wanted to make this guild in the first place. It was just a sheer accident, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
yeah, 100%. Well, thanks for joining us, Emma.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully we get you on at some point. I think we're going to do an episode with you and Lupita and Kerry at some point. We still need to get used to using your normal names. And we'll see you again. But thanks for joining us. And thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and then we'll be back to talk about Saturday next week.